Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and what you're going to watch right now is a 10-minute spot with me and Kurt Metzger. It's an awesome spot. In this spot alone, we talk about aliens. We talk about Epstein. We talk about the fact he worked with Sacha Baron Cohen on Who is America, maybe the best thing he's done in the past decade or so. One hell of a series if you're not familiar. That's part of a 2+ hour interview that is now broken up into two parts over at redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. So if you like this and you want to see the whole shebango, you can actually do so for $1. You get premium for $1, uno dollar, for 1 week, and then it's $10 a month, or lock it in. If you like what I do, you want to support the broadcast, it's $100 for the year. You save big. I love you for supporting me no matter what. Spreading the information is numero uno. But enjoy this sample of Kurt Metzger. I bring up the fact that, whether you love Trump or hate Trump or whatever, these machines need to stop. We need one person, one vote. We need paper ballots and accountability. We should be using technology to empower audits and oversight, not protect the people that control the machines that don't even really have a digital footprint, right? So
that's not American. Okay, sorry.
No. I'm just saying. So in 2008, in the intro to the Treehouse of Horror episodes, which are my favorite episodes, they're the best ones ever because they always parody something very, very smart in a short amount of time. And it's Homer going to vote, and it's McCain Obama. So he comes in and he's like, "Oh, it's one of the new touch machines." And he tries to vote for Obama, and it goes one vote for McCain. And he does it again, another vote for McCain. And it's this whole thing where The Simpsons got it 15 years ago that these things were corrupt, and they were pointing it out on the other side of the aisle. You know what I mean?
Even if it wasn't like that at the machine level, like I remember people when they're like, "Oh, they stole it from Trump." And I'm like, Do you understand it's rigged before it even gets to your fake fucking choice? Like the primaries are completely rigged openly. It's not a secret. They do it openly, and then the guy that gets screwed has to go. I think Bernie. I never.
Oh, Bernie won twice, but that's all right. So let's talk about that aspect.
But I think that this is my wild speculations because it's and when I worked for Sacha Cohen on that Who is America show.
Oh, you worked on that.
I wrote for it, yeah.
Oh, no kidding. I watched that series. It was one of the best things he's ever done, brother.
I got a lot of, a high percentage of a lot of my bits on there, which I'm surprised.
You know what I got to ask you before we go on? Yeah. That's allegedly where the incident in Vegas happened with the pedophile.
I wasn't working on that. And also I called my buddy Dan. It's Sacha and his two friends from like school mostly.
Okay.
And then they hired me. They normally don't do that. They normally just bring people in like session. It was like joining a band or something.
Yeah.
And then he could like hire whoever he wants and didn't have to go through whatever diversity bullshit. Just him and his friend. But the guy that was saying that shit about like, getting it, he actually tried to report it because he was scared when he heard that. It was like a thing where it wasn't what it got reported because I immediately called him like, dude, what was that about?
Yeah.
And the guy was like, oh my God, this is see, here's what we do. Well, I mean, I'm saying I just wrote bits and I saw.
No, but the setups, I get it.
The setups are just like how an intelligence agency would work. In fact, John Kirikow, I don't know him through Sacha, I know him through Jimmy, but he consulted with Sacha on a lot of stuff. Sacha's a plugged-in fucking guy.
So wait, John Kiriakou, the CIA, yes, the CIA whistleblower that ended up doing time for talking about torture methods, actually schooled these guys on how to run quote-unquote undercover ops kind of.
I don't think he schooled them on that. I think it was for the Dictator movie, some stuff. But
okay, I watched that as well.
Yeah, there's a guy, I'm blanking on his name, and I even had him on my podcast who wrote an article about Sacha Cohen being part of the he's a good guy too. John McLeod or something McLeod.
Oh, I know. Alan McLeod. He does a lot of good stuff. McLeod. He does a lot of good stuff on Musk.
I had him on my show and I really liked him a lot, Alan McLeod. But because I was like, I didn't understand the article about Sacha. I'm like, I don't know what you expect. He's some rich guy from an old money European family. If my ex-girlfriend was Israeli, so she's like, Cohenim is like a Levite. Like that's a heavy, like, and he went to Oxford. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
And
a smart
Oxford
ass.
is a network we talk about on this show a lot because people don't understand. It's even beyond the kind of Harvard network that we have here. It's a
Oh,
big deal
it
in Europe.
predates the Aztec Empire or some crazy shit like that.
Yes, continue.
And it's like it's interesting up close to see people like because you see like I don't think Sacha like read. He's very smart, right? But why would he need to read or look up anything? He could just talk to the people that are movers and shakers, just like the recording of Moby when he's talking about the CIA was telling him Russiagate's real, basically, and you realize like they don't have to be in on it. Sean Penn.
No, they just get fed disinformation and they believe these people.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Let's stop right there because you know what we were supposed to talk about, at least we were talking about via text yesterday, was kind of this alien thing. And,
okay, wait. I want to finish what I said. So,
all right.
How we would have people on, like we had a hilarious ones in Atlanta with like terrorism stuff, where they had like, they would prime the people. They have them in a room with magazines with terrorism. It was for his Israeli character. The makeup wasn't good. I think they thought he was scarred in war, and that's why they allowed.
He was one of my favorite parts of it.
Dude, I had the active. That was mine. The active shooter training where they have like a
God,
shield,
dude, that was horrible what you did to those poor people. Didn't want to have his pants down at one point, like
dude,
run into him with his butt.
Yeah. That was not that bit wasn't mine. I had the one where they were doing. They disguised the cubicle as a mosque, and the guys get. And I was like, no one's gonna do that. I every time I would go like, dude, no one is gonna do this, and I was wrong every time. When he goes, like with the steps, if you have a shooter, hide, infiltrate, violence, or HIV, and he was like, if I give you HIV, do you promise to spread HIV to all of your friends and family? And what they would do is, because they're like, oh, they love like Israel military shit. He's like, and the guy goes, oh, buddy, you know what that means? I don't care. And they're like, so they just go along with it. But first they'd be primed. They'd be on TV. They'd see a real Mossad operation where there's some guy wearing a burqa pretend to be a chick and then busts like Hamas. There's all these magazines, and they're already hyped up about Islam.
So you're kind of giving them the Darren Brown treatment, where it's like Darren Brown is he's not really a magician, but he works in neurolinguistics programming.
It's exactly that, and so here's a real eerie thing, and I really want to talk to Eric. I told you, Rogan, I want to talk to Eric Weinstein because his story he said about meeting Epstein, about where they call him, and he goes, I didn't think he was a hedge fund guy. He seemed like not. I didn't know what the hell it was. He's in a waiting room for an hour, and then he notices this weird kind of art sculpture with like lights, and it was like it would draw your attention. He's looking. He's like, is that a camera in it? And he walks up and looks in it, and the second he sees the camera, they're like, Mr. Epstein will see you now. He comes in a room. Jeffrey Epstein's, they're talking to him. There's a coffee table or something shaped like a coffin with an American flag draped over it. Okay? He said they brought him like a coffee or cake, and it was like, he was like, is this like testing if I'll put it down on the American flag on a like, he immediately was like, what is this? Meanwhile, Jeffrey Epstein has a hot girl who's sitting on his lap. While he's talking, he bounces her occasionally. She goes, ooh. And he was like, it's a really interesting story. What it reminds me of is Sacha's billionaire character,
where he's getting the hand job in front of everybody.
Now that's exactly right. And we had a camera in the vent, and I remember going, I was like, you got to put a blanket because you can't. First of all, I'm like, this guy's gonna walk out when she starts giving him a hand. This is what a naive idiot I am. The guy thinks he's making a sale. Of course, he's not gonna walk out. It's millions of dollars. He'll sit. That's the ultimate conspiracy, is how money works. And that story that he told me, it reminded me so much of that sketch. And I was like, holy shit. And that's how they do ops. And like, it's the same method as like a prank or something. It's priming and then just putting you in the right mind state. And, you do whatever. And then some people, yeah.
That is why I'm extremely skeptical of this whole alien agenda, and the fact that you have all these whistleblowers coming forward, many of whom, the majority of whom, have never claimed to see an alien body. Now, that's a whole nother subject. But we talk about priming, for instance, right? Now, let's talk about Lazar's story. an NLP, and trying to get a message out there. Now, if you're bringing somebody in that you're not sure of, right, doesn't have the military clearances, but you know that he's a pretty smart guy, one of the things that he's talked about was they gave him all these briefing documents that at first he thought were fake. But they were about aliens and the Zeta Reticuli and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's never claimed to actually see an alien except for in that one instance. Maybe he looked into a room and saw something, and who knows, he may have been primed for that, right? So over and over again in this subject, what I find is the technology seems to be real, 100%. But anytime I hear about an interaction with aliens, whether they be the gray kind or, there's this other woman that I watched in front of the White House with, some of these disclosure people talking about meeting aliens that were tall in a hollowed out mountain. You know the deal. Palladians, whites, there's the bird, the avians, all this stuff.
Okay. So
my point is this, and listen, everything I've ever seen, whether it be the Phil Schneider story or whatnot,
I don't know about that.
You don't know the Phil Schneider story? Man,
no. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That has a lot of
validity. I don't think so either. By the way,
it's somewhat. That seems like very much like.
Oh, does it? The shootout with the aliens, where he's the sole survivor after a laser beam fight.
By the way, just so you know, I don't have like beliefs or something.
No. I agree.
Wild speculations based on weird memory things. But finish what you're saying.
Now, all I'm saying is, we've had so much technology suppressed from us and information. This will tie into what you were talking about with all these Nazis that came over, right?
Yeah.
During World War II. And really, if you look at the genesis of the Central Intelligence Agency, what you're looking at is the OSS and the Skull and Bones crew and the Nazis. That's the main drive.
Like the Nazis. It was a shame to have to go fight these guys. It was a shame. They were so efficient and so had control, and they're better than commies, right? So, of course, I love when they bring up the good war. And we're such a good country that there was no hard feelings. After the war, we made sure to save as many, and not just the scientists, as they say, because I used to think that, and I'm like, well, okay, they wanted to get their shit. What are you going to throw them away? No, they're psychopaths and maniacs that we could put in other countries to just destroy their companies and then install in many of our corporations, especially the tech industry.
Get the whole story on Red Voice Media Premium using the link below, completely uncensored and ad-free.